The day I found out my own family had been hiding my diagnosis from me, it didn't feel real. I was sitting in a hospital room, calm, quiet, just waiting for routine results. At least, that's what I thought. The doctor walked in, holding a file. He looked at me, then paused, like he was confused. Have they not told you? He asked. Told me what? I replied. That was the moment everything shifted. He hesitated.
They're from months ago, he said. Months. My mind went blank. That's not possible, I said quickly. I just got tested. The doctor looked at me again. This time, differently. No, he said. You were tested months ago. I felt my chest tighten. That can't be right, I whispered. But deep down, something didn't feel wrong. It felt familiar, like a missing piece, suddenly appearing. Because for months, things hadn't made sense. My family's behavior, the way they avoided certain conversations, the way they looked at me, like they knew something I didn't. And now, I was about to find out what it was. I stared at the doctor, trying to process what he had just said. Months ago? I repeated. He nodded slowly. Yes, the tests were done here. My mind started racing. That's not possible, I said again. No one told me. The doctor looked confused now. Your family was informed, he replied. Family. That word hit harder than anything else. They handled the discussion, he added carefully. We were told you were aware. Aware? I shook my head immediately. No, I said. I wasn't. The room went silent. The doctor closed the file slowly. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Because now, something was clearly wrong. Not just with the situation, but with what had been done. What exactly is in those reports? I asked quietly. He hesitated again, like he was deciding how much to say. But then he looked at me seriously. You have a right to know, he said. Right. That word felt important. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about a diagnosis. It was about something being taken from me. The right to know about my own body. And whatever was in that file, my family had chosen to keep it from me. But now, that silence was about to break. The doctor took a slow breath, then turned the file toward me. I'm going to explain everything clearly, he said. I nodded. Even though my hands felt cold, he pointed to the report. This shows a confirmed diagnosis, he began. The words that followed felt distant, like I was hearing them from somewhere far away. I focused on the paper instead. Dates. Test results. Doctor notes. Everything was there, detailed. Final. Real. And the worst part? The date at the top. It was from 3 months ago. 3 months of living without knowing. 3 months of being treated like I already knew something I didn't. I looked up slowly. They knew? I asked. The doctor didn't answer immediately, but he didn't need to, because the silence said everything. My family knew. They had sat with this information, carried it, decided what to do with it. And instead of telling me, they chose to stay quiet. Why would they do that? I whispered. The doctor looked at me carefully. Sometimes, he said, people think they're protecting someone. Protecting. I almost laughed, because whatever this was, it didn't feel like protection. It felt like something had been taken from me, and I hadn't even realized it. I left the hospital that day, holding a truth I should have known months ago. The drive home felt longer than usual. Every thought, heavier. Every memory, different. Because now, everything made sense. The way my mother avoided eye contact when I asked about my health. The way my father kept saying, just trust us. The way conversations suddenly stopped when I entered the room. They weren't being distant. They were hiding something, Like they already knew this moment would come. No one spoke at first. Then I placed the file on the table. Silently. My mother's eyes dropped immediately. My father stayed still. You knew, I said. It wasn't a question. It was a fact. My mother's voice shook. We didn't want to upset you. Upset me? I felt something rise inside me. Not anger. Something deeper. You didn't want to tell me about my own diagnosis, I asked. No one answered, because there was no explanation that could make it right. And in that moment, I realized something painful. They didn't just hide the truth. They took away my right to face it. My mother finally spoke. We were scared, she said. Her voice was trembling now. We didn't know how to tell you. I stood there, trying to understand. 3 months? I asked quietly. You didn't know how to tell me for 3 months. My father stepped in. We wanted to wait for the right time. The right time. That phrase echoed in my mind. Was there ever going to be a right time? I asked. Silence. Because deep down, we all knew the answer. No. There wasn't. They weren't waiting for the right moment. They were avoiding it. Avoiding the conversation. Avoiding my reaction. Avoiding the truth. But in doing that, they made something much worse. They made a decision for me. A decision about my own health. Without my knowledge. Without my consent. I could have started treatment earlier, I said slowly. My voice didn't shake, but something inside me did. The room felt heavier now, because this wasn't just about emotions anymore. This was about consequences. Real ones. And the more I thought about it, the more one question started to form in my mind. How was this even allowed to happen? That question didn't leave my mind. Not that night. Not the next day. How was this allowed? So I went back to the hospital. Not as a patient this time, but looking for answers. I asked to speak with administration. Someone who could explain how my diagnosis was shared, without ever being told to me. A senior staff member sat across from me. Calm. Professional. But I could tell. This wasn't a normal conversation. I need to understand something, I said. They nodded. Your records show the diagnosis was discussed with your family, they replied. I know, I said. But why wasn't I told? There was a pause, because that question didn't have an easy answer. Did I give permission for my medical information to be shared? I asked. They checked the file. Scrolled. Read carefully. Then stopped. Their expression changed slightly. No, they said. That one word changed everything. Because now, this wasn't just a family decision. This was something else. Something bigger. Something that shouldn't have happened at all. The room felt different after that. Quieter. Heavier. Are you sure? I asked. The staff member checked the file again. More carefully this time. No consent form, they confirmed. No authorization on record. I leaned back slowly. Because now, this wasn't just about what my family did. It was about what the hospital allowed. So my medical information was shared. Without my permission. I asked. Internally. That word felt controlled. Careful. But I wasn't thinking about process anymore. I was thinking about impact. I lost 3 months, I said quietly. They looked at me. And for the first time, their expression changed. From professional to concerned. Because this wasn't just a mistake. It was a delay. A serious one. And now, the responsibility wasn't just on my family. It was on the system too. The hospital didn't take long to respond. Within days, I received a call. They wanted me to come in again. This time, not as a patient. As a case. When I arrived, There were more people in the room. Administration, legal, senior staff, all present. That alone told me how serious this had become. "We've completed our initial review," one of them said. I stayed quiet. "We found that your medical information was shared without proper authorization." There it was, clear, direct. No confusion anymore. And because of that, they continued, "Your diagnosis was not communicated to you directly." I nodded slowly, not because I agreed, but because I understood. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a failure. And now, they were about to take responsibility for it. "We want to apologize," they said. The word hung in the air. Apologize. It sounded simple, but it carried weight. "Due to this error, there was a delay in your awareness and potential treatment." They continued. "Delay. 3 months. Time I didn't get back." "We are taking this matter very seriously," another staff member added. I listened, but I wasn't focused on their words. I was thinking about something else. Trust. Because that's what had been broken. Not just by my family, but by the place I trusted with my health. "Is this going to be made public?" I asked. They exchanged glances. Then one of them nodded. Double quotes. "Yes," they said. "A formal statement will be released." And just like that, this wasn't private anymore. The truth was going to be seen. A few days later, the statement was released. Clear. Official. Public. The hospital acknowledged the mistake. They admitted that my diagnosis had been shared improperly, that I had not been informed directly, that protocol had not been followed. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't denied. It was written for everyone to see. People started reaching out. Friends, colleagues, even strangers, because stories like this don't stay quiet for long. But for me, it wasn't about attention. It was about something much simpler. Truth finally being acknowledged. My family didn't argue anymore, didn't explain, didn't defend, because now there was nothing left to say. The truth was out. Not just inside our house, but outside it too. My mother tried to speak once. "We thought we were protecting you," she said again. I looked at her. And this time, I answered differently. "Protection doesn't mean silence," I said. She didn't respond. Because deep down, she understood. Some decisions can't be undone. In the end, it wasn't just about a diagnosis. It was about a right. The right to know. The right to decide. By people who thought they knew better. It always does. And when it does, it doesn't just expose what happened. Nothing would ever be hidden from me again. And that made all the difference. Truth.